So in our previous session, we have discussed about the lookup transformation, okay, and types of output, okay, and where we can use this lookup transformation, okay. And today, this is the continuation for the lookup transformation. We can see types of connections. That means how many types of connections it will support inside the lookup, and we can review the how to handle the non-matching entries, and also what type of cache modes we have and which scenario we can use which cache mode. Okay, so first, when it comes to the connection types, okay, in lookup actually it will support two types of connections. One is OLEDB connection. Of course, you know very well about the OLEDB, which can be used to connect with any RDBMS system. Another connection is cache connection. Okay, so cache means it's a kind of in memory, so where it can produce the file. It's a kind of cache file which can be used to, you know, used to in multiple packages as a reference. Okay, so OLEDB connection I have already showed you how to use it in our previous session. Okay, so let me open SSIS. First, open the Visual Studio. So here, this is my project. It's opening. Yeah. So here my source is SQL Server. Okay, that is customer info table, my source table. Here my target server, there also the table is my target table customer info. Here what I was implemented like incremental load. How to do the incremental load with the help of lookup. Okay, so first I have taken my source. After that I was taken lookup transformation, which is pointed to my target customer info. Here, if you come to the columns tab, here the customer ID is the key column between these two tables, kind of performing the join. Okay, so based on this joining condition, okay, the lookup transformation will decide whether the record is exist in the target or not. Based on that, it will produce the either matched record or non-matching record. If it is matched record, there you no need to do anything. If it is non-matching record, then here if you see under the general tab, specify how to handle rows with no matching entries. That means non-matching records. You want to ignore failure. That means if you want to, by default, the task will fail when the non-matching record enters into the lookup. Okay. If you want to ignore that failure or else redirect rows to error output. Error, do you want to consider that particular non-matching record as an error output? If you see here, there is a red line. That is the indication of bad data. That means error data. So it will redirect the data to this error line. Fail component, or else if you want to fail the component, that means lookup transformation itself, it will fail, or else redirect rows to no match output. Yes, of course, this is the one we're supposed to use. Okay. So this is okay, this is what we see in our previous session. Okay, so when the non-matching entry, it was entered into as coming it as a non-match output. So non-match output, we are directly loading into our target table along with the timestamp. This is inserted date. I'm producing new column and loading into the my target table. Okay, so here I have taken the conditional split for identifying the changes in the source and target. So here we are only joining the table. It's a kind of joining for deciding whether record is exist or not. If it is exist, then we supposed to check the values whether they are changed or not in these three columns. So that is what I have used the conditional split. I have written the expression. Okay. So if it is matched, so conditional split, what it will do, it will return two types of output. I mean, based on the expressions. For example, you have written one expression, by the time it will return two outputs. If you've written three expressions, by the time it will return four outputs. That means the number of expressions plus one default output. So here I have written the matched condition. So if this condition is not satisfied, then the record it will be redirected to default output name. So here I have taken the non-matched record. Okay, why? Because we want to update only if the column values got changed. Then only we supposed to update. With the help of YLDB command, what I am doing, here I have given the connection, and here I have given the update statement. So this is table name set, which are all the columns I would like to update along with the parameters. Question mark is nothing but a parameter. Okay, and where condition. So based on this parameter position under the column mapping, I was trying to map the columns. Okay. So once you map, click OK and execute, it will incrementally load the data. Okay. Now we can talk about the cache connection manager. What is the use of this and where we supposed to use them? So cache connection manager can use cache file. How this cache file will produce means we have cache transformation in SSIS. With the help of cache transformation, we can produce the cache file and we can use that file in lookup transformation. Where we can use this cache connection usually. For example, Nikko situation on it. Okay, you have a one situation. For example, you have four SSIS packages which are populating the data to four tables: table A, table B, table C, table D. Okay, these four tables I would like to compare against to one reference table, that is table D. Okay, this is my reference table. This reference table I would like to compare against to these four. That means four SSIS packages, for example. Okay, so that means the same reference table we need to compare multiple times, which are there in multiple SSIS packages. By that time, we can use the cache connection manager. Okay, so if you want to use the cache connection manager, what you supposed to do? This reference data first, you supposed to load it into the cache file. Okay, once this cache file was produced, this file I will use it in my all SSIS packages in my lookup. Okay, in this case we can use the cache. Okay, first let's look into this. So let me create the new package. Let me rename it as ETL underscore okay, ETL underscore lookup with cache. Okay, CSCHA. Yeah. So for example, in my case, for example, I would like to first tell you the scenario. How many servers do I have? This is your server. Other than this server, I do have this server. Okay. This is okay. Another server. Also, it was there. I think this is the one. Yeah. For example, these two are my source systems. Okay. This is my target system. Okay. So I would like to compare my table data, my target table data against to these sources and do the kind of incremental load, whatever the thing it is. Okay. So in such a cases, first what you supposed to do for using your target, you supposed to produce the cache file. So here I am. So what is my source? This is OLEDB source. So I would like to probably take OLEDB source. This OLEDB here. Create the connection. Click on new. Okay. So it was not there. My database is not there. Adventure Works 2019. I would like to consider. Okay. Where is my server name? P30. Yeah. Okay. So here Adventure Works 2019. This is my target database. Okay. So I would like to use this. And here, for example, the product ID. Just consider I would like to write the query instead of selecting all the columns. Okay. So let's wait for queue. For example, here I have a production.product. It's opening. Select star from production.product. Okay. So from this one, I need only these 3 columns is fair enough for our practice purpose. I don't need all the columns. I'm considering these. Okay. So this is 1 second, guys. Okay, these 3 columns. Let's consider this is my target table. Okay. So I would like to load the data to cache file, right? So there is a transformation that is cache transformation, which were there under the other transformations. Okay. So simply produce it, map it. So here I would like to create the cache connection manager. So the connection manager like production in product information. I would like to give the name. Okay. So here you're supposed to click on use file cache. So browse it. I would like to store this file in this particular location in the output folder bash 30 prod info. The file extension is .caw. That is cache file extension is caw. When it comes to the columns, if you see those 3 columns, but here one thing you're supposed to do whenever dealing with the cache, you're supposed to give the index position for any one of the column. So this is my joining column since. So I would like to give the index position as 1 here. That is okay. Okay. So column mapping correct. Done. So that cache file, I can use it in everywhere. For example, our previous package, where is the lookup? For example, here only I was using that cache file. For example, I have taken another. Okay. So here my source is okay. For example, my source, I would like to take AdventureWorks 2019. Okay. So I would like to select my sales table. Where is my sales table? Sales order detail table. Here only we have a product ID column. Okay. At the last, this row GUID it is not required. Modified date is not required. That's fair enough. Okay. Now I would like to compare, I would like to use my lookup transformation here, and I would like to compare with the product table, and I would like to get only the matching records. That is what my requirement is. So take the lookup. Okay. Here. So you're supposed to select simply cache connection manager. Here just mention how to specify how to handle rows with no matching entries. So I'm considering only the matching entries, guys. Okay. So I'm saying ignore failure connection. Here you supposed to browse the file actually. So the file is still not produced because still our SIS package was not executed. So what you supposed to do? First execute this. The file will produce. So that file we can use it in that SSIS package. Okay. So yeah, the file is produced. First I will show you the file where it is. So output batch 13. So if you see here, production info.caw, that means cache file. This file I will use it in my other SSIS package, this one. Okay, open the lookup, go to the connection. Okay, go to the general, select the cache connection manager, go to the connection. Here you're supposed to create the connection. For example, here this is the file we supposed to use. So the file, this is the one. Okay. So do you want to remove all existing column metadata and add new specified? Yes. Okay. Go to the columns. Yeah. Click OK. Okay. Go to the columns. So here I supposed to mention what is the joining key. So I would like to product ID, make it as a joining key. From the product table, I would like to get product name and product number also along with these all columns. Okay. So done. So I'm considering only matching entries, guys. That's what I have. Only ఈ కాంబినేషన్ మ్యాచ్ అయితేనే అంటే ఆ ప్రోడక్ట్ ఐడి ఈ టేబుల్లో ఉన్న ప్రోడక్ట్ ఐడి ఈ టేబుల్లో ఉన్న ప్రోడక్ట్ ఐడి మ్యాచ్ అయితేనే నేను రికార్డ్ తీసుకుంటున్నా. ఓకే. సో I would like to load this data to for example into Excel file or something. For example, Excel file work అవ్వదు, CSV డ్రైవర్స్ ఇంకా ఇన్స్టాల్ అవ్వాలన్న దాంట్లో Excel file work అవ్వదు. ఓకే, match output. I would like to load this data to CSV file. So in the output folder, all sales info lookup .csv. Okay. Column names in the first data row, columns. Okay. Mapping. Here, product name, number also added. Now you can see. So this is the way we can use, that SIS package I have executed. Yeah, this package we're supposed to execute. Yeah. ఈ టోటల్ 504 ప్రొడక్ట్స్ వచ్చేసరికి ఆ సేల్స్ టేబుల్ తోటి మ్యాచ్ అయిన రికార్డ్స్ మొత్తం ఇదిగోండి ఇవి 1,21,317 రికార్డ్స్. ఓకే, దే ఆల్ ఆర్ లోడెడ్ ఇన్ టు మై CSV ఫైల్ విచ్ వర్ దేర్ ఇన్ ఇదిగోండి. Yeah. Okay. So this is the way we supposed to use the cache connection manager. Okay. In our SSIS packages, where you have a situation, the same reference table, if you want to use multiple times in multiple places, by that time in one of our package, we will produce the cache file and we can use that cache file in our further SSIS packages. That is the purpose we can use the cache. Okay. So next, when it comes to the cache modes in lookup, so it's a theoretical part only. Okay, I will explain it. We have totally three types of cache modes. If you observe, when you click on the lookup transformation, it will open the pop-up like this, lookup transformation editor. Under the general tab, the first one, cache mode. Here you could say full cache, partial cache, no cache. The same three cache modes I have given it here in a reverse manner. Okay, first no cache. What does it mean by the no cache? When we select cache mode as no cache, SSIS lookup component should not use any cache. That means as an intermediary storage, it should not store the data anywhere. That is no cache. Full cache. When you select this one, okay, it will read the data, all the data from source into cache. First, then the entire source data and తీసుకొచ్చి cache లో పెట్టేస్తుంది. Cache అంటే is a kind of temporary memory. Okay, temporary storage location అన్నమాట. Okay, then it will look up each record against to the reference table. Against to reference table. Reference means my target table. If match found, for those records, it will be loaded to lookup match output, and non-match will be loaded to lookup non-match output. That means this is the behavior of the full cache. So the behavior of full cache is the entire source data. The entire source data. That's what I have mentioned here. All the data. Source lo unna all the data, it will be loaded into the cache. Then it will start comparing against to the reference table. If match, then it will redirect the record to match output. If it is non-match, then the record it will be redirected to lookup non-match. Then what is the partial cache? When we select the cache mode as a partial cache, then the lookup transformation will read each record from the source into cache. Okay, then it will look up that record from source against to reference table. Okay, if record match is found, that source record will be cached for other use. ఓకే, సో మీకు అర్థమయ్యే విధంగా ఎలా చెప్పాలంటే పార్షియల్ క్యాషీ అనేది ఎప్పుడు దీని బిహేవియర్ ఎలా ఉంటుందంటే, ఫుల్ క్యాషీలో ఏమవుతుంది, ద ఎంటైర్ సోర్స్ డేటా అనేది క్యాషీ అవుతుంది. వెన్ ఇట్ కమ్స్ టు ద పార్షియల్ క్యాషీ, ఓకే, పార్షియల్ క్యాషీ అంటే మీకు ఇక్కడ మెమొరీని కొద్ది కంట్రోల్ చేసుకోగలిగే క్యాపబిలిటీ ఉంటుంది. ఓకే, ఫర్ ఎగ్జాంపుల్ నీ సోర్స్ టేబుల్ డేటా వచ్చేసరికి 1 GB ఉందనుకుందాం, కానీ లుకప్ హ్యాండిల్ చేసేది 100 MB. ఓకే, ఈ పార్షియల్ క్యాష్ అనేది ఎప్పుడైతే సెలెక్ట్ చేస్తావో, ఓకే, సో ఈ అడ్వాన్స్డ్ ట్యాబ్లో ఇఫ్ యూ అబ్జర్వ్ హియర్, క్యాష్ సైజ్ 32-bit 25 MB, 64-bit 25 MB. అంటే బై డిఫాల్ట్ 25 MBని తీసుకుంటుంది. అలా 1 GBని ఇటరేట్ చేస్తుంది. ఫస్ట్ ఒక 25 MB తీసుకుంటుంది, సోర్స్తో ఈ టార్గెట్ రెఫరెన్స్ టేబుల్ తోటి కంపేర్ చేస్తుంది. రెఫరెన్స్ టేబుల్ తోటి కంపేర్ చేసి వచ్చిన రికార్డ్ని మళ్ళీ క్యాషీలో పెట్టుద్ది. ఓకే, నాన్ మ్యాచింగ్ రికార్డ్ను క్యాషీలో పెట్టుద్ది. అంటే మల్టిపుల్ క్యాషెస్ మెయింటైన్ చేస్తుంది. ఓకే, సో ఆ నాన్ మ్యాచింగ్ ఎంట్రీస్ని కూడా నువ్వు క్యాషీలో పెట్టాలి అనుకుంటే ఇదిగో ఎనేబుల్ క్యాషీ ఫర్ రోస్ విత్ నో మ్యాచింగ్ ఎంట్రీస్. ఓకే, దానికి ఎంత మెమొరీ అలొకేట్ చేయమంటావు, అలొకేషన్ ఫ్రమ్ క్యాషే, ఎంత పర్సంటేజ్ ఆఫ్ మెమొరీని అనేది. ఇదంతా ఏంటంటే మనకి ఫ్లెక్సిబిలిటీ అనమాట. సో మరి ఏది ఎప్పుడు యూజ్ చేస్తాం, నో క్యాష్ ఎప్పుడు యూజ్ చేస్తాము, పార్షియల్ క్యాష్ ఎప్పుడు యూజ్ చేస్తాం, ఫుల్ క్యాష్ ఎప్పుడు యూజ్ చేస్తామంటే ఒక్కటే, when we use partial cache we need to allocate the cache memory size for lookup, matching and non-matching. The memory will be allocated to cache from your system memory, and that means in a RAM. Okay, when we supposed to use the means, if your data set size is small, by that time we can use full cache. Okay, if your source data set size is small, okay, by that time we can use the full cache. If your data set size is huge, by that time we can use the partial cache. Why? If data set size is small, we supposed to use the full cache mode. Means, for example, while running the SSIS package, it will occupy the RAM actually. Why? Because it's an in-memory processing system kind of. Whenever it was starting processing the data, by the time whichever the transformations you have used, those transformation operations, it should happen in that memory only. Okay, so ఫర్ ఎగ్జాంపుల్ నీ సోర్స్ డేటా సెట్ వచ్చేసరికి 1 GB, ఫర్ ఎగ్జాంపుల్ 2 GB ఉందనుకుందాం. ఈ 2 GBని ఫుల్ క్యాష్ ఏం చేస్తుంది, స్టార్ట్ అయ్యేటప్పుడు నువ్వు సెలెక్ట్ చేస్తే ఆ 2 GB డేటాని క్యాషీలోకి తెచ్చుకుంటుంది. ఆ తీసుకొచ్చుకునే ప్రాసెస్లో నీ సిస్టంలో ఫ్రీ మెమరీ లేదనుకో, 2 GB లేదు, 1 GB అవైలబిలిటీ ఉందనుకో, ఇప్పుడు ఏమవుద్ది, టాస్క్ ఫెయిల్ అయిపోద్ది. ఓకే, అందుకే ఫుల్ క్యాషీ మోడ్ we supposed to use only for small data sets. ఈ పార్షియల్ క్యాషీని మరి ఎందుకు హ్యూజ్ అమౌంట్ ఆఫ్ డేటా సెట్స్కి యూజ్ చేసుకుంటున్నాం అంటే, దేర్ వీ హ్యావ్ ఎ కంట్రోల్, మెమొరీని మనం కంట్రోల్ చేయగలుగుతున్నాం. ఇప్పుడు ఫర్ ఎగ్జాంపుల్ అదే 2 GB నీ సోర్స్ అనుకోండి, ఇక్కడికి వచ్చేసరికి 2 GB ఒకేసారి మెమరీలోకి లోడ్ అవ్వట్లేదు కదా, మనం కంట్రోల్ చేయగలుగుతున్నాం. నేను ఏం చేస్తా, నాకు 700 MB లోడ్ అవ్వాలనుకుంటే ఆడ 700 అని పెడతా అడ్వాన్స్లో. ఓకే, దానివల్ల ఏమవుతుందంటే పార్షియల్ క్యాష్ హ్యూజ్ అమౌంట్ ఆఫ్ డేటా సెట్స్కి సూటబుల్ అవుద్ది. వై వీ హ్యావ్ కంట్రోల్ ఆన్ ది మెమరీ అలొకేషన్. ఓకే, దిస్ ఈజ్ ఆల్ అబౌట్ ది క్యాషెస్, దీస్ 3 types ఆఫ్ క్యాషెస్. ఓకే, నో క్యాష్ అనేది నేనైతే ఇంతమట్టుకి ఎప్పుడు యూజ్ చేయలేదు. ఓకే, సో ఐదర్ ఫుల్ క్యాష్ ఆర్ పార్షియల్ క్యాష్, అవుట్ ఆఫ్ దీస్ 2 any one we can use. Okay, this is all about the lookup transformation, this is all about the cache modes, this is all about the types of connections it will support, this is all about the how to handle the non-matching entries. Okay, this is very 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 important transformation in SSIS. Okay, common interview question as well. Okay, every interview everyone will touch this lookup transformation.